flu.
Hello and welcome
Drum roll.
everybody. The drum roll has occurred.
Hey! Hi everyone!
Exactly. Hi everyone. Good to see you all. There's only half a dozen of you, or maybe more. Oh, Spike's here. Jeff Slater's here. Chris Mayhew's here. Sam is here. Wellbot's here. Teresa's here. Brian's here. I think that's it actually.
Yay!
Quick scan. Yeah, I think that's it. Welcome everybody. We're getting very close to episode 50, which will be good.
75% of 1,000. Okay.
Now I've got
Oh, Brian.
some lag. Is anyone seeing lag on my audio or video? Hey, Kathy O'Malley. Kathy didn't go to bed yet.
Yay! Yeah, happy post-Valentine's. Yes. Yes. This is a very romantic stream.
Very laggy,
all
yeah.
the time.
It's odd.
Who is laggy?
Me, certainly.
You, the stream.
I can see that I'm laggy.
I will try to listen to you.
Let me see if I can rectify that. Close that way. It's because I've got the Firefox open. Let me pop the chat. Sorry, guys and ladies.
Sorry.
Let's see if that works. No, not so much. Weirdness. I hate the new YouTube. It's just crap.
Firefox.
No, not NBN. Nice. Oh, here we go. Now I just closed a bunch of windows. Yay! Now we're live. Now we're actually better. It's yeah, the new YouTube environment is crap. That's my official position on the matter.
Yes, it is. There is this new YouTube creator studio they have been pushing for like the last year and a half, and nobody uses it. And I think that finally they have said like, okay, the old one is gone, so use the new one, and everybody is pissed about it.
Yeah, exactly. I used to always use the old control panel. Thanks, Spike, and Kathy. Yeah, it's forced our hand, but it's not intuitive.
No, but the only thing that they do is like the YouTube Creator Studio is something that nobody was used to it. Like nobody had before the need to be uploading videos and writing descriptions.
Yeah, exactly.
So they did one, and when millions, literally millions of or hundreds of millions of people learned to use it, they decided to change everything. Like the only thing that they did was change everything from place to place. Like we are going to change the grouping, and instead of doing it like little by little, they could have gone with little by little, nobody would have complained.
Yeah.
They changed everything, so people that do like daily uploads needed to learn. Nah, there is no way. Like, that's not going to happen. Yes. Yeah, I don't like when software is updated and they only change like, we are going to go from clear to dark background,
Yeah.
or we are going to change the icon from the left to the right. Like, don't do that.
Yeah. Jeff, don't fall asleep while driving, please. G'day, Motorhead Mitch.
Hey!
It's like we've got half a new crew, because we've got some regulars and we've got some faces that haven't been able to attend for a while because of life, circumstances.
Live.
Yeah.
Such a... No.
Now, you have a tank that now drives, which is
Yes.
sort of
Well,
fancy.
It kind of does drive. In the video, I did not show the probably 20 times that I had to reset the outdrive. But the thing is that I'm not still an expert on the outdrive. The thing that the controller that I use on the tank. So it kept stopping. I did leave at the end of the video me pushing it uphill because it stopped in the way to the top of the hill. And as it doesn't have brakes, it started rolling backwards. So I did catch it and kept pushing it uphill.
Okay.
So it does work. It's still the thing with the axles and the bolts. It's not perfect in the gearbox, but it basically does drive very nicely. Yes. Yes, I'm pretty happy.
Sam, if the chat isn't working for you, refresh the chat, which is what you advised me last time, I think. But everyone's still here.
Restart the computer and your router.
Yes, exactly.
So and the breaker in the entry door. Like, no, not the breaker.
Apparently, James Bruton is whiz with ODrive.
Oh yes, he is. Yes, he is. He is a whiz with lots of things. Yes.
He indeed.
Yes, yes. Now, I've done a couple of things with him and talked to him about a couple of projects and he put so much effort and time on every video. It's insane. It's insane. I'm pretty sure that the first time that he got his hands in an ODrive, he didn't stop until he learned everything from it. And I don't have that kind of.
He mastered it. Yeah.
Yes. So he's very good.
You guys did the rockets together.
Yes.
The wheelbarrows.
Yes.
What else?
And we might be doing another thing this summer.
Oh, cool.
We are still trying to find something fun that we both can do.
Yep.
And yeah. But he's the dog that he is making. I could have done that project, but I would have need to cheat the dog movement. But what he's doing is he did the entire kinematic model of the robot.
Yep.
So he knows how to move the entire body against a flat surface or a terrain, because he knows in every moment where each point of the leg is, and the degrees of every joint, and it's insane. It's insane.
So this is his Boston Dynamics sort of clone robot.
Yeah, but he has replicated 90% of the research of Boston Dynamics in the kinematics part.
Okay.
So, he's following their steps, but he's himself this. He's not a research group, or he doesn't have the budget. So it's really, really incredible.
Yeah.
It's more impressive. It's difficult because in YouTube you usually only see the video of the project.
Yeah.
And what James does is much more impressive than the result on the video usually. Right. The Sonic video that he has just done. The mix of joints and balancing and is insane. It's much more than the video show.
This is on his the Sonic on the Segway.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's not a Sonic on a Segway.
I understand, but as a
And
description for anybody that's sort of seen it or hasn't seen it, that's roughly what it
but
is.
but yeah, that's what may go through the video. But I think in tomorrow's video he has done a few improvements, and he's going to be able to in the side-to-side balance shift the weight of the road to the inside of the curve to have like insane stability.
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't spoke to him about this, but I'm pretty sure that that's where he's going to go. It's going to be
Okay.
incredible.
I've only seen the short snippet that he put on Twitter where he crashed it. I haven't seen
Yeah.
the full video.
Yeah, if you don't crash it, you're doing it wrong. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Yes, he only shows the tip of the iceberg. But it's pretty difficult to make entertaining what goes under or what goes behind the scenes on one of those videos. Because sometimes he's staring at the computer screen for like 20 hours straight. Yes, that's boring. Yes. So yes.
A couple more people have joined. Chris Mayhew, John Mack, and Maya Makes is now here.
Yay! Oh yeah, he's very nice. If you ask him something, he will go to insane lengths to explain it to you and to show it to you. Oh yeah. Yes. So I have a few things here.
Good.
That I want to talk about. The first one is when does like where is the size frontier between bread and breadcrumb? No, I'm joking.
Okay, because this actually leads into a thing that's going on at the moment on Twitter with Mia. She's trying to make powdered
What?
PLA. If you
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it.
She's done many
Yes.
experiments. There's other people trying to solve it as well at the moment. People are talking liquid nitrogen and shredding machines and all sorts of.
No, shredding machine. Not a paper shredding machine,
No,
but
of course.
shredding machine is the way to go.
Yeah.
That is how it is done in the industry.
Okay.
Yeah, because a shredding machine will give you the particle size that you need, and it will chop everything consistently. There is no way that is going to go through the shredder if it is not small enough.
Sure. Although she was, what did she use? She used cotton candy.
Kind of a blender. Or...
She's used blender. What do you say, cotton candy or fairy floss? I know you have the Spanish word.
Cotton candy.
Cotton candy, okay.
Which is literally in Spanish is algodón de azúcar, and is literal translation from Spanish.
Yeah. So she used one of those machines to try and get stuff going.
How do you call it?
I call it fairy floss, as in fairy.
For like the tooth fairy.
Like the tooth fairy, yeah, and
okay.
floss, thin
fairy
strand.
Floss. Yes.
That's what
like
we call
floss.
it here.
Okay.
Oh, and Spike's
so
saying
if you use
candy floss.
So if you use a lot of fairy floss,
yeah,
it's probably that you will get a visit from the tooth fairy.
Correct.
If you are
yes, because it doesn't work as a cleaning flossy agent.
No,
it works as a sticky gunky agent.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and Teresa's generic description of spun sugar is also correct.
And what's the goal? What's the use that she would...
Okay, so
yes.
I asked this question about 3 hours into the conversation. I said, well, has anybody asked why? And I actually said, have you got a surprise for Ivan?
Yeah, I've read that. Yeah.
Anyway, she goes, shh. But she said, I've got some ideas. But Jordan, Mad Monkey, who appears here sometimes, he suggested that it's for making her multicolored filament. You know how she prints layers on layers to make her own filament?
Yes.
I think she's going to try and do something and extrude it. I don't know fully. I'm surmising
If
from.
that's the case, she is embarking in something that lots of people are working on right now.
Right.
It's basically like there are the ultimate chip printing method is being able to print with pellets,
Yes.
because as I think many of us know, pellets are way cheaper than extruded filament. The ratio is like 10 to 1 or something like that. So if you can ultimately use pellets to print in your printer, it's going to be way cheaper.
Yeah.
So I could make even bigger tanks. But the thing is that I've seen a few projects where people have done like DIY pellet extruders, but then you have like the possibility of recycling your own filament. But for that, you have to make your parts, like crush them and make them into fine powder, or not fine powder, but small parts that can be easily melted in an extruder.
Yeah. So there's two
Like,
kicking around at the moment that I've seen. So Flowalistic and Stefan CNC Kitchen both have the same pellet extruder that they're
do they?
playing with. Yes.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, they're both. They only in the last couple of days have both of them received.
Oh.
Yeah, John, Parts Daddy is a little bit big to move around, I guess. Parts Daddy is 20-foot tall Delta printer.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm not into that. I was going to say a nonsense, but I'm not into printing big parts all at once. Like
Yeah, that
very bad. I know
you
that
heard
I've
it here
made an
first,
insane.
everybody. Ivan Miranda does not print big parts. He
No, I
prints
do.
lots
Yeah,
of 300 by 300 by 300 parts.
yeah, that's how the tank was made.
Yeah.
And I think it's way safer and gives you way more margin of error to do that than going for the 20 foot.
Yeah,
Feet.
I'm
20,
guessing.
20 feet
I
up.
stood next to it. I'm sort of guessing.
Whatever, yeah.
Maybe it was
Because
15 feet.
if you fail one of those, that means I will have a lot of work making that into pellets again.
Oh yeah.
or you will even have like if you throw the parts away. I will have something to reveal soon. But if you have to throw your failed parts to the trash, you cannot throw in the container a 20 feet part. It doesn't fit.
No, exactly.
No.
There's
no,
a picture I took at Murph, me standing next to a clock, and the clock was taller than I was. So it was like a grandfather clock,
Yes.
tapered with a bulb at the top and just the face in the top.
Yes.
But it was 3D printed. G'day, Red. Yeah. So. What do you do with those failed parts? I'll ask Jim actually. I'll see what he happens to
I'm working with a company now that might be picking up my failed parts to make stuff with them. But as it hasn't materialized yet, I will refrain from saying the name of the company. But yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to remove some of the impact of me printing lots of parts. So let's see. We'll see how that works. But it's not to make filament again. It's to make parts with the filament.
Right.
And I myself, I'm one of the plans that I have for the CNC that will probably be the next video on my channel is to be able to make molds as Flowalistic was doing with the
the smoothie.
He was doing in the oven.
His smoothie project. Yep. So
yeah, try to do something similar, but something that can be done at the scale.
Okay.
Like being able to do many iterations of the same part and make blocks or make whatever.
So is PLA? You can't pour it because you can't get it to a liquid
No.
state.
Once, like, if you think that increasing the temperature will make it flow more, that's not how it works. If you increase the temperature, it will burn it. It will degrade the material until it burns.
Yep.
So you can make it flow, but as you cannot increase the force of gravity, you will have to increase the pressure to make it flow. Like when you do in injection molding machines, use pressure to inject the liquid plastic or the fluid plastic into the mold.
Yep.
That's not PLA, not with ABS.
Yeah, I did actually get Thierry to do the experiment once. We were talking about having a CNC cut shape, a letter or anything, doesn't matter, and pouring it or filling it with PLA, molten PLA.
But what Flowalistic does is puts scraps of plastic on top of the mold.
Yep.
Heat it in the oven.
Yes.
To the flow temperature of the plastic.
Yep.
And then by gravity it starts to fill the void and set on the mold.
Yep.
It's not the same, but it works.
Yeah.
It works. Yes. That can be done. But not pouring. But it might end up flowing, but it's not going to be like liquid wax or something.
Exactly.
Like
you're not going to pour it. Yeah, correct.
No. You can pour it, but it will take a lot of time.
It's like,
and it will have to be in a heated chamber, so it doesn't cool off while it's being poured.
So it's like the drop of what is it? Asphalt tar. Yep. That's been the experiment that's been going for 120 years or whatever.
It does flow. Yeah. The other day in the printer video, I think I mentioned this. Someone said in the comments that glass flows.
Yep.
It's like that. That's why my mirror was going to be sagging. So, glass doesn't flow. It's not that. No.
It's been debunked.
Yes. Glass is crystalline and it doesn't flow.
Yeah. My mother used to always tell me that it was a very slow-moving liquid, and that's why it was always, fat at the bottom of the windows of old buildings.
Very old.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway. Just looking through chat. Okay.
Breadcrumbs. We didn't go past the breadcrumb.
No, we didn't. You were with the loaf of bread and breadcrumbs, and I asked about powdered PLA, or as Brian said, powdered LA, because
if anyone knows, well, I will check Stefan's Twitter or something to get the extruder, the
model, whatever it is.
Pellet extruder link. Yes.
Yep. I'll find it on Twitter if you want.
With that, I could play.
Yep.
Yes.
I
did. Sorry.
He actually took it apart, and one of the frames he put NSFW, so not safe for work, as the caption of the pellet extruder. So it's a stepper motor, and
that's what it is.
Yes, that's the extruder with the case taken off.
I thought I saw it, and I thought that was a drill from a Mars rover or something like that.
Yeah. No.
Because it looked like a drill.
I'm sure that's the take apart of it. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's the auger thing.
Yeah, another. Yes. Okay. Now I know.
Yep.
So I saw it, and I thought I saw a different thing.
Yeah. Well, I saw something on both Twitter and Instagram of yours, and I had no freaking idea what it was. Which my poor brain could not work it out. So anyone that hasn't seen it, there was a picture that Ivan posted, which was like a window frame. Oops, let me try it here.
Yes.
Right. So window frame with a cross in the middle. Right? And I thought it was glass bricks, and I thought it was some infinity mirror, blah blah blah. And he made fun of me. Like, really? You don't know what it is? Except I'd already commented on the previous tweets and a couple of days ago where he showed what he was making. It was 4 bits of aluminium extrusion that he'd cut with a wood saw, a
Yeah,
circular saw with a wood blade.
yeah.
But
Which seems
so
seems
what
people.
was the pattern at the very end? Is that like light?
But the thing is that the sun was hitting at the end of the table
Yep.
and was hitting at the end of the beams
Yes.
of the aluminum beams.
Yeah.
So and there were holes on the sides, so
Uh,
that kept reflecting and was like a little bit misleading, I
Yeah,
think.
that's why I thought infinity mirror of some description, because I could see that there was some light effect to it, and no, it should have been obvious, and someone actually pointed out, do you remember this? And I'm going, oh yeah, I
Uh,
do.
it's two
Anyway,
posts ago.
so yes, so if you haven't seen it, go look through Ivan's
Yeah.
tweet media, and you'll see what I'm talking about, like a madman.
Yes. What were we talking about? Oh yeah. A few weeks ago, I did post a poll on Twitter asking whether someone had ever slept in the same room as a 3D printer. And lots of people said that they sleep all the time in the same room as a 3D printer.
Wow.
Uh,
While they're operating is the important part.
yes, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And there is this thing with the VOCs, volatile organic compounds, and the airborne particles that come out of an extruder. I'm not sure if the risk is the same, but I'm sure that the risk is not the same for all filaments. I think that I think that PLA is a pretty safe filament to be printing on the same room as you are, as long as you don't burn it. Yeah. I'm not talking about resin printers. I'm only talking about FDM printers. Resin printers are bad. Resin, any monomeric compound is really dangerous. Monomeric compound resins that haven't been cured, really nasty. But the FDM printers, I think that PLA is safer than, for example, ABS. ABS is horrible because whenever the degradation of the ABS when it becomes thermoplastic expels gases, and it's really nasty. And it started a chain of comments saying like, why you shouldn't be doing that? Which filters do people use? Or extraction bells and everything. It was really insane how many people did chip in on that poll. So yeah, I do like too the sound of circles. Yes. So yeah, I don't think that PLA is bad, but either way, I wouldn't be sleeping in the same room as my printers. This is a very big place, by the way, and has lots of holes. It's very well ventilated. Sadly, that's why my electricity bill is so high.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not the same in my case. Yes.
Because
So yeah.
your tent is the only real room.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. The rest is like there are lots of holes in the ceiling because this was a wood drying space. They used this many years ago to dry wood, and there was a woodworking shop here, and there like it's very well ventilated, very well ventilated. So yes, there is no real danger, and any heat that I can infuse in the air escapes immediately because the air goes up and escapes through the holes. So yes. No, I don't live here. I have a house, normal house. No.
I was waiting for you to
Why
see
would
it.
I? No. No, but I spend here it's not the sleeping that is bad. It's the being next to a printer that is printing what is bad. It's not. It doesn't become bad once you fall asleep. It's breathing the gases.
Yes. So you fall asleep forever.
Yeah, no. Well, it depends. No. Well, when I had my second kid, I did sleep in here a couple of times.
Okay.
Like I told when I went back to home, I told my wife like I've cheated because I've slept at work. Like none of us have slept during the night, but I did sleep like for 20 minutes at work because I couldn't think straight anything.
Yeah.
So yes. The long sleep of 3D printing. Yes. Yes, is the long sleep of 3D printing is the title of a book. It's a mystery book that talks about a
Murderer. Yeah.
Yes, and finally, well, spoilers. At the end of the book is about geeks and 3D printing. They are trying to find how the murderer killed the victim, and the victim appeared dead in the bed in the same room as his 3D printer was printing. It seems that the murderer did infuse poisonous gas inside of the filament. So mid-part, when the poisonous part of the filament reached the printer, the gas got freed and killed the victim.
I like it.
Yeah, I would be a very, very good murderer. I have lots of ideas about the perfect.
Boy, he's worked in some jobs that just pushed him too far.
Yeah, no.
How am I going to kill this person?
If anyone needs the number of my burner phone, I'm after
the burner phone. Oh dear, oh dear. Did you say burner or murder?
Burner.
Okay. Because murder phone also makes sense. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. Well. It's not good to have a phone that you call the murder phone.
Yeah. When you go overseas and the TSA says, "What's this?" Oh, this is my murder phone.
Murder phone. Yeah. Why do you have two? This is for like normal people.
Yeah.
This is for when I become a murderous killer, like insane assassin.
Yes, very good. With your tank.
Yes.
Actually, you would do significant damage. Although the treads, the flexibility in the wheels. Say you put your leg under it. I'm not suggesting you do it. Would it be instant snap of your limb, or would it roll over your limb?
No. It will roll. It will hurt. It will hurt a lot, but it will roll. Yes, because you will reach. I think the leg is thick enough that you will reach a point where the entire weight of half of the tank is on top of your leg, but it's not heavy enough to sever. Yeah. Seven. Yeah. Yes. No. No. And I've tried in the shop a few things like I did record it with the phone, and the phone ran out of space mid video, but I did run over a cardboard box, small cardboard box, and completely flattened, like straight flattened. And I did try to stop it, putting my leg in front of the tank and giving it a bit of throttle. You can make it stop, but barely in the shop. If it was in like dirt or like in the forest where I did test it, you couldn't stop it. It would be too strong.
Yep.
So yeah.
Speaking of having children and sleeping and cheating and murdering, Pokon
cheating?
Just
you talk about cheating.
Sleeping elsewhere. You know.
Okay.
Welcome, Pokon. How is it? Jack? Yes, baby Jack. Yes, baby Jack. I'm confident with baby Jack. What? He's a week old now. Must be.
Yay!
Time flies. Jack, indeed. There you go.
He should be sleeping. Is the first one?
Yes, his first one.
Then there is no worries. The thing is, as I tell to my wife, like when you have to do like in basketball, I don't know how do you say this in English, but you have different defense strategies, and one is one-on-one.
Yep.
When you are doing one-on-one, like when you have one kid, you still have one player in the reserve in the bench. You can have one-on-one and one in the reserve, and you can ask for change. Like, how do you say when you change players?
Probably
swap.
Swap.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a sporty term.
And one rests and the other one plays. When you have two kids, you can only do one-on-one. And if you do two-on-one, you are like being like they are more than you.
Yep.
So like one could go running and then like because I have two very small kids.
Yep.
But when you have three kids, they overcome you in numbers. They are more than you. and then there you are at a loss in any situation.
Yep.
Because if one runs, you have to you have to start thinking, which kid do I love more?
Exactly. Because
if-
there's always a favourite.
if-
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because there is only 2 people for 3 kids. So if one runs, the other one stays. Like you have to,
Yeah. Which do you leave
with
to
one-
be eaten by the dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
yeah, dog, street crossing, or like cliff.
Yeah, cliff, edge of the building,
Yeah.
swimming pool.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm pretty sure that parents with 3 kids have this already decided beforehand. Like,
I see.
these 2 are the ones that we are going to save, and like that one, because like that bump in the head when he was really small.
Yeah.
That's going to be
His downfall.
so yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
There you go. That turned. That turned better than your tank.
That.
Although your tank does drift.
Drift? Yeah, it does drift.
Yeah.
It does drift. The thing, when I did the test inside the tank, when I was driving it, and that's the only time that I drove it. Like I didn't do a test beforehand because I didn't want to risk breaking it. I thought, when I was inside, I thought that I was going very fast. Very fast. And as you can see, the video was miserably slow. But you have to take into account that you have in here 2 4,000 watt engines or motors spinning 8 times faster than the wheels in the outside.
Yep.
And the noise is insane. So and the vibrations. So it seems like you are going really fast, and you are not. You are not. But still, at the end of the run, I did brake really hard, and it did skid. And the motors plus the overdrive have more than enough power to break everything. So, yes.
What are the ramifications of drifting? Like, if you're in it, what are the stresses that are actually on?
Drifting is not really that bad because the issue comes when you have grip. For example, if I did what everybody keeps saying to me, like to plastic dip on the wheels or do TPU or put rubber on the wheels, then when you are trying to steer,
Yep.
and you have this thread going that way, and this one going this way,
Yep.
everything is trying to break apart.
Yeah.
And that's when you break things. But as long as it skids, there is no problem.
Okay.
It's not that bad. No. So no. But it's the thing that when I went with one of my friends to do the testing, I kept thinking about a runaway tank all the time because I haven't still put any safeties outside.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to put at least one in the front and one in the back, like a rope or a lever where I can pull and disconnect the battery, at least. Because if not, there is no way that I'm going to be able to stop it.
Yeah.
Even if it is not going very fast, it will not stop until it hits something heavy.
Yeah.
Or falls into something. So yeah, that kept popping in my mind.
Yeah. So even Chris is saying you need a kill switch is what you're saying with a
Yes,
rope
yes,
and
absolutely.
disconnect the battery or whatever.
And I need. I'm planning on adding an extra reduction stage in the gearboxes. I have now 3 sets of chain and pinions in its thread. I'm planning on adding a 4th. So that I think will be the limit of braking by itself. If it's not a very steep hill with 4 stages, it will stop by itself by the resistance of the gearbox. So the only thing that I need to add is something to disconnect the battery. I think there is nothing, there is no safe alternative like something that sends a command to the overdrive or no. I need just to be able to disconnect the battery.
Physical. Yep.
Yes. Yes. But more physical would be something that you can run through the threads to stop them, like putting a stick through the wheel or something.
Yeah, a giant metal rod.
That will do the trick.
Boy, that would be heartbreaking though. Yeah.
Not, but it wouldn't. It could not be one of the idlers, because that one would start skidding, and the rest should be one of the driving gears.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
I rather
so everyone's giving you ideas of, what you already know what to do.
yes.
But yeah, the big red switch, like at the petrol station, the garage, for emergency shut off of
Oh yeah, one of the
your big,
mushroom
yeah,
like
yeah, bang,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I need to think of something that can be easily used while in panic.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, like someone sees the tank, sees it, knows what to do, or if I'm running towards the tank, like something that I can press or pull or throw, or yeah, yeah, yes. So mecanum wheels on the trucks. That will be at this moment 198 mecanum wheels. Each mecanum wheel having at least 4 wheels. That's around 800 wheels plus 800 axles plus 1600 bearings. No, thank you. No. I keep doing this, but whenever someone makes a suggestion, I try to take it seriously.
Yep. Even though you've
And
discounted it in the first half a second, you've gone,
yeah,
nope,
I
can't do
know
that.
that's not the way to go. Yeah, but 1600 bearings,
Yeah.
it's insane.
Boy, you'd,
No,
you'd
no.
you'd get a good price from Banggood or AliExpress. Where would you
No,
buy 1,600 bearings from?
I will go straight AliExpress.
Yeah, AliExpress. Yeah.
Alibaba. Maybe a straight Alibaba and do a business to business, a B2B
Oh yeah.
deal.
Yep.
So they send me a pallet of bearings. I will ask for a sample, and they will say how many do you need, and I will say 1600.
Yes. We need
And
to
that's
do a
it.
thorough test.
Yeah, no, it's not to get them for free.
Mm.
It's just for them to give me a business price,
Yeah.
a business to business price.
Yep.
So
Fair enough.
it would be yes. Just bearings. Justbearings.com. The best bearings in the. Talking about bearings, I have lots of bearings in here. Can you see the bearings?
They're different, those two, aren't they? Were they
Yes,
different?
this is a. Is
One.
that a baby bearing?
Yeah, yeah. That
And
wasn't a standard skateball bearing.
no, this is a flange
That's the word I was looking for. Yep.
bearing.
Mhm.
And yes, GT2 idler bearing with notches.
Yeah.
And I think I have a blank one for the other. And
The
that's one of
idler.
the things that I want to talk today about uh, the maker, the maker conundrum.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
There is something there. Um, I I usually read from people in the comments that say I'm working on something the likes of what you are doing, or I'm working on a similar project, and I'm stuck, or I'm hoping to finish it sometime. Um, and I think when a maker finds himself or herself or whatever self in the point of decision, uh, usually like people get stuck because they think they are more limited than they really are. And that happens to me too. I was this morning, I'm working on the CNC machine, and I did a 3D model that is still not perfect. Doing something for other people to make is really hard. So I was thinking about the return idlers for the Y-axis belts. I have a motor and two idlers, so the belt does this. Goes to the motor and goes back.
Mhm.
I use those to keep the largest amount of belt in contact with the pulley.
Yep.
Like you cannot put a belt and the pulley in here because then you only have one teeth in contact at a time.
Yes.
So bend the belt like this. You put 2 wheels. That's standard practice.
Okay. I
But
just learned something. Good.
When you get to the point of deciding what those idlers are going to be, the first design that I did, I used. I need to find all my bearings. I did use a combination of this. Is this the one? Where are they? Well, I did a sandwich like this one. How on earth can I not find now my bearings? But there was, I will use like this. This doesn't. I did this with this. I did a sandwich like this. Can you see this, more or less?
Yep.
Washer, spacer, bearings, spacer, and washer. I could have used 2 flanged bearings with an axle.
Yes.
I could have used this.
Yep.
Taking into account that the part of the belt that touches this is the one that doesn't have the teeth.
Yep.
And the perfect solution should have been this.
Yes.
The thing is, if you don't have money or the opportunity to buy this,
Yeah.
you have this, use this. If you don't have this, but have this, use this.
Yep.
And if you don't have that and have the set, use this. But if you don't have any of those things, I've even used a pile of washers with a bolt and a couple of self-locking nuts in it.
Uh-huh.
And it doesn't matter. Now, the thing is, when you talk to people that know what they are doing, they will tell you that this is how it has to be done. Not how it should be done, but how it has to be done. So trying to find a way of getting a hold of this, saving the money to get this, learning the technique to use the thing that has to be used, that's I think what most of people get stuck by. So what I'm trying to say is, what is stopping you finishing the project usually is not what you think it is.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have plywood, but you have MDF, use MDF. And if you have cardboard and it is thick, use that. If you don't have bearings, use washers. If you don't have washers, but try to even you might even have things in your house that have bearings in them. An old printer, that 2D printer.
Yes.
It's not the place for 2D printers, but a 2D printer has belts, has stepper motors, has bearings, has linear guides, has lots of things that could be used, for example, to make a 3D printer. And lots of people are like, they say, whenever I get the money to get the aluminum to build the plate, you could make a build plate out of wood if you want, out of an straight all mirror. Place the mirror on top of the wood.
Yep.
There are lots of ways of getting there. And the other thing that I find myself usually blocking me is I wanted to make a printer that is 500 by 500 by 500 millimeters. And I only have 400 millimeter linear guides. So I will wait until I save and buy 500 millimeter guides. Build the 400 millimeter one. Because there is nothing, like, usually if you try to review your premises, what you think your project should be, usually those are set by you. Usually when a maker is making a hobby project, there is not a client.
Yes. Yeah.
I wish I have that big of a 3D printer, or like if you have the means to build, or the materials or the tools to build something smaller, do it, and you will finish the project. And then you will maybe be able to like step and go and build something bigger, because you gain experience, or you learn that the NEMA 17 motor is enough to build an insane printer. Don't let anyone say that NEMA, like, yeah, NEMA 17. My printer, my big printer is made with NEMA 17 motors. It's right now it's printing beautiful. But everybody said in the comments that you could only do that with NEMA 23 motors.
Not true.
If you are
obviously.
a maker, yeah, it's not true. I showed it. But if you are a maker and you don't have, like, if you haven't built like 7 printers as I have, and you are going to build your first printer and you want it to be big, and you have an old Anet A8 that you have, for example, you bought an Anet A8 like 6 years ago and it broke and you have the NEMA 17 motors. Can you make a printer as big as the one I have? Yes. There are trade-offs, but you can. Like there is no NEMA 23 rule in the printer that will say wrong, no, it will not work. Yes, it will. You might have to print slow.
Yes.
But that's the premise. Like you will not be able to say, I need to make a printer that is as big as the one that I have, that will have to be able to print at 10,000 millimeters per minute, and also be able to do jerk movements of 20 millimeters per second square, because one of your premises is punishing your project and making you like it's making you having to buy not NEMA 23 motors. Maybe you will have to go to NEMA 41 or 42, NEMA 42. So that's what I say the conundrum, where when a maker is sitting on its desk trying to make the decision or trying to overcome the obstacle to finish the project. I don't know if I explained myself.
Yeah. Teresa's asked a question. Yeah.
Is as obvious as it sounds, an NEMA 23 motor usually is capable of taking more current and usually more voltage, and it can develop more torque, so it can move bigger stuff. Usually they are not faster. Yes, the NEMA 23 motors have more torque. So usually you, with the same gear set or gear reduction, same belt, same pulleys, you will be able to move heavier things before the motor stalls. Yes. And girth also. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes. Yes.
Do you often find yourself sorry, let me rephrase that. How often do you find yourself working around problems like the washers with a bolt through them as a pulley, or using alternate methods to get the job done? And how long do you leave the bodge in place?
Well, the bodge usually stays in the project as long as it works.
Yep. Okay.
Unless I do a Mark II or a Mark III or a Mark IV. But usually I've been doing this for many years now. So whenever I think of a project, I usually can build in my head the entire project. So right now I'm working, for example, I'm in the early stages of building a tugboat.
Tugboat, yeah. Tug.
So I'm doing the research of looking at photos and videos of tugboats to see how they work. And for example, if I were to do this like 3 years ago, I would have set myself to replicate the exact mechanism of a tugboat. The drive system is and it's fairly complicated. What I would try to do now is replicate how a tugboat works, but no, not how it does it, because that will constrain so much the project that will make it very difficult. So when I have a project like that is like water, which I hate to work with, but I love making boats. There are a few things that you have to bear in mind. For example, there are things that move that have to be underwater. There are electrical things that will be on the thing that is on the water, that cannot get wet. But there is not a straightforward maker way of making mechanical things go from dry to wet. Like there are mechanisms to make shafts that can cross the walls of a boat, even if it is an RC boat, that can be used, but those are not fail-proof. So I have to think about workarounds like maybe even installing a pump inside the boat. So
Yeah.
even if water gets in, I will pump it out.
Yep.
It's not fail-safe, but that's a bot. But every single boat has a pump. Like any big boat that exists has pumps to pump out water that gets in the boat.
Yeah.
So, like I could even be planning even before starting the design on a boat that will pump out water outside the boat. But that's a boat that is on commercial boats.
Yeah.
That work. So it's a bot, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And if it works,
Well,
I couldn't be bothered.
it's not really a bodge if it's normal practice to do that.
Yeah, but the right way of doing it would be make sure that there is no way that water gets in the boat.
Of course, except.
But it seems that that is really difficult and expensive.
Yeah.
So the second best is to put a pump.
Put a pump. Yeah. So there's a saying: water will always find a way.
Oh yes, oh yes. Mary Beach.
Yeah, as opposed to Mary Blige.
Oh, I have no idea. Trumpis?
Travis Stamper is in, and Teresa has sent love to Trumpis.
Okay, I'm lost.
Trampus is Travis Stamper.
Ah, okay. Who is okay? Okay, fine. Yes. Yeah. How many options do you think that I did have for the tank transmission system?
Oh, heaps. You would have those options. The normal person would go, motor, cogs.
How would you done it?
I have no idea. You're asking the wrong bloke. But
Yeah, but give it a go.
Some form of motor, so a drive mechanism with.
But set yourself on the point that you have to make it. You live where you live.
Yeah.
You have to source the components and make it work. What will you do?
Well, first you need to figure out the power, the torque, what you need to know the weight that you're moving, or the
120 kilos.
Yep. Okay. That's without you. That's without you.
Yes.
Yeah. That's.
Let's say that we are only thinking about dry weight.
Yep. Okay.
120 kilos.
120 kilos. Okay. Good.
How would you go from that?
I don't know. Well.
Try like.
Okay. So you get a whopping great motor. This is the way I would approach it. I'd go, you need a big enough motor to push the thing along, right?
Yes.
But is it so? It's two independent motors, obviously, because you need the slip.
Correct.
Okay, so you're not putting a limited slip diff in the unit itself.
Real tanks have only one driving motor, and they use a special gearbox to switch power from one or other and forward or in reverse.
Oh, okay. All right.
But for the sake of being able to finish the project this century, 2 motors is the way to go.
Okay,
so
century.
there.
So you've got 2 motors. You've got ESCs, of course.
Well, like you have gone straight for brushless RC motors.
Yeah, because that's all I know.
Do you know anything about brushless RC motors?
No. Other than they make my drones go brrrr.
Do you know about DC motors? Do you know how to make a DC motor work in the first place?
No, that's why I said I'm absolutely not the guy to ask this question.
But do you know how to, like, if I gave you small DC motor, would you know how to make it spin?
Yeah. I'd stick it on a 9-volt battery or whatever volt battery.
So you have knowledge there.
Yeah, I have a little bit.
You have then you could go like you have like something that I see a lot of oftentimes happens is that people, instead of following the ladder, the staircase of knowledge and trying to only climb one step at a time, do what you have just done.
Okay.
You know DC motors.
Yep.
And you have jumped to brushless motors and ESCs.
Yeah.
Straight away, which is insane.
Insane good or insane bad?
Insane. No, it's insane bad.
Okay, good. Excellent.
It's insane bad, like, because you are setting yourself for not only like, if you are not the guy that is usually like is like if I were to try woodworking right now, I know nothing. I wouldn't go to bowl touring straight away because I will lose my face.
Yep.
Probably.
Yep.
But if you know how to make a small DC motor work, you could go for a big DC motor.
Yes. Okay.
And a car battery.
Yes.
And you will probably know how to wire the car battery to the DC motor.
That I would know. Yes.
And do you know how you change the spinning direction of the motor?
Just switch the leads.
You have more knowledge than you thought.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So the next thing would be where would you get a DC motor?
Are you going to tell me a washing machine or something like that?
That's not a DC motor.
I don't know. This is the gap in the knowledge.
Yes.
I'd go to the hobby shop and I'd say, I need a DC motor, thanks.
To the hobby shop.
Yes, I need one this big.
This big in DC would be about the right size for this tank.
Mm-hmm.
Yay big.
Yay big. I understand. Yay big.
Yes.
Where would I get a DC motor that big?
You would probably be fine going for a windscreen wiper motor. Probably.
Yes. Yep.
DC motor with something very important in it, reduction. Because what you need in the tank is torque, not speed.
Yes.
And do you remember have you seen one of those small DC motors spin? They spin really fast.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. When you feed like 9 volts to a small DC motor, they go really fast.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to get a motor that has enough torque to spin the tracks at that speed, what will happen? It will. My bet is that it will explode.
Yes. What, the tank? The tank would explode.
Yes, if you can spin the drive sprocket at, I'd say, 6,000 RPMs, the centrifugal force would make the threads explode.
Yep. See, that I understand.
So you need less speed, more torque.
Yep.
So you will need reduction.
Yes.
But that's the in this exercise, that's the thought process that you have to follow.
Okay.
But in every step, you find a hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to think about the path that will present to you the less amount of hurdles for the knowledge that you have.
Yeah.
So going for brushless without more, that I think that will be insane. Okay. But with a DC motor, it's almost impossible.
So we've got a bunch of suggestions here: mobility scooters, starter motor, battery.
3 Printing Revolution did hit in what I would have gone for if I knew nothing.
Starter motor?
No, chainsaw.
Oh, later down the track. Yep.
Yes, and I will not even go for battery chainsaw. I will go straight for gas chainsaw, because they have something really, really nice. That is, you have a motor that has a pinion that you can connect to a chain.
Yeah,
You when
you've got a
when you
drive
see a
shaft
bike,
already. Yeah. See,
when
yeah,
you see a bike, you know how it works.
yeah.
So you could like try to put a very big sprocket in the drive axle,
Yep.
pass that through the chainsaw, and the chainsaw has a clutch.
Yeah, I was going to say it's got neutral, so it
Yes.
has an idle, and then you engage.
It doesn't have neutral. It has
Uh,
a centrifugal clutch.
Let me rephrase that.
Like like a
It has a stop and it has a go.
yes.
Yeah.
And it has the as it has a centrifugal clutch, the more you accelerate, the more energy is transferred to the drive gear. So it can be very smooth. And you could even do that, like put two chainsaws on the tank and drive them with your fingers. Like accelerate the chainsaws and make it work.
Okay.
So yes. I think that for someone that knows nothing, the biggest challenge in here would be to adjust the carburation of the chainsaws, make the chainsaws work, which is not trivial.
Yeah.
But I would have gone. I would have gone with no. For someone that knows nothing, I would have gone with that. And if you want to do that, to make that work RC, you could just attach servos to the chainsaws, and the servos straight to an RC receiver, and it just works. And you have an RC tank.
Given that, yes, I understand that. Given that you can buy an inexpensive chainsaw,
Yes.
how often would you go and buy something like a chainsaw to strip it down for the parts? Is there any?
And I will show you world exclusive.
Okay.
Give me a second. This is something that hasn't been released and that I might release on Patreon, so you will see it. It's
So this is move. Yep. Keep going. Keep going to your right. Stop. Okay. So you've got leaf blowers, which is sort of what you did on the wheelbarrows as well. Yeah.
Yes, those are the.
No, I was going to say
wheelbarrow.
they are the wheelbarrow ones. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So you're making a powered unicorn swan thing.
Yes, it's an RC inflatable unicorn.
Okay. As you do.
Yeah. What I did with those was I disassembled them for the wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
And connected DC motor drivers because the blower motors are DC.
Yeah.
So what I did is use modules that you can buy on Amazon or even, I don't know if in Australia you can get them for a reasonable price, but yeah. And connected straight to an RC receiver and use the same differential steering that I use on my tank. And that was that took me an hour and a half do the modification.
Okay.
And then strap it to the unicorn. Unicorn, yes. That's buying something off the shelf, modify it to be RC, and use it straight away.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But buying stuff and modifying it to use on projects, I do that. And recently not as much, but in the past I've done that a lot.
Because when you started talking about 2D printers earlier, the first thing I thought was Brother and Epson and whatever, their laser printers are $30.
Yes.
Because they want you to buy the $100 toner.
It's cheaper usually, for example, if you want a NEMA, a very small NEMA motor, to buy one of those printers, break it, and get the electronics and the motor.
That's exactly what I'm thinking about. As soon as you mention it, I thought that's the classic scenario where the product itself has no value placed on it because they're going to screw you with the toner or the ink.
Exactly. I've done recently. I've cleaned the shop and organized it. This is my, I'd say, 8 kilos of stepper motors box. And I think somewhere in here, well,
Brian's
flat,
running
flat
commentary.
NEMA 17, big NEMA 17, dual shaft NEMA 23.
Oh, sorry, folks.
Sorry, dual shaft NEMA 17. But I have, where are my small motors?
Oh,
They
nice,
are here,
James.
right? Where are they? I've lost them. They are so small. But I have a couple of very small motors that I took from printers. They are not in this box. They are in another box. I don't know where they are.
That's okay.
But yes.
But
Yes.
you have
Scavenge
you
parts
have
on
done exactly
printers.
that. Yep.
And there are in inject printers. There are the belts that move the carriage. Those are closed belts that are very expensive and very useful. I
GT
think with
are they GT2?
I think they are smaller than GT2.
Okay.
I don't know if they are in the GT category,
Yep.
but yes, they are very small.
All right. Do you know what GT
You could
stands
make a
for?
mini. No idea.
Either do I. That's
Would you?
why I asked.
Gear teeth? No, I have no idea.
Geared teeth. We'll go with that. There you go. Brian
Yeah,
says gear
gear
tooth.
tooth. Gear
Yep.
tooth.
Good. I like it a lot. Unless you use
I think
washers.
we are going to leave it here
Yeah,
before
that's fine.
JT falls asleep.
No, all good.
And yes,
Thank you. That was actually a bit of fun. My brain hurts, but yes, fun.
yes.
Thank you one and
Okay.
all. Lovely having you back. Sorry we missed you last week, but we will see you next week, I presume. So,
Hopefully, yes.
yeah.
Bye
See you
bye.
later. Bye.
Bye.